this is just like a micro presentation. It's going to be like 3 to 5 minutes long. And the too long didn't watch version of it is like Google Drive for desktop exists. It's a lot like OneDrive, and it's really cool. So the intended audience of this presentation is students who have multiple devices. I like Google Drive for desktop because I have files that I like to keep locally on my machines for when I'm not connected to the internet, but I want to be able to access them everywhere. And I'll kind of discuss what that looks like. So probably everyone knows Google Drive at this point. They throw Google Drive at kids very early on, and there's Google Classroom and stuff. So most of us grew up with Google Drive. But generally we think Google Drive is great, but it doesn't have that much space. So it's not that good, right? And I looked into this some time ago and I realized it's actually super duper cheap to get like a decent amount of space in there. I do $20 a year for 100 gigs. You can do 200 gigs for $3 a month. You know, it's very, very cheap. So you can actually, there's lots of room to put stuff in Google Drive. And when you have Google Drive, you can install the Google Drive for Desktop app. And this is really cool. Within the app, you can choose a folder that you want to start syncing up with Google Drive, and it will just start immediately syncing everything to that folder, no problem. And you can access it from the web browser in Google Drive. You can access it from other computers that have Google Drive for desktop. Really useful. I have a colleges folder that's about 7 gigs now that I just put all my notes, video lectures. I don't put virtual machines in here because it's a bit too, those are a bit too big. And yeah, and then you can get like a real-time status update on all of your files that get synced and what they're up to. And I like that. And here is a picture of the green check mark telling me, hey, all my files are synced. That means they're happy in the cloud. When you get the Google Drive for Desktop app, you actually get like a new drive location. On mine, it's called the iDrive. And from there, you can click it and you can see, hey, look, my Google Drive. You don't, when you get Google Drive for Desktop, you don't even have to go into the web browser anymore and press the waffle button and go into Drive. Never have to use a web browser ever again. You can even open up Google Docs from your local computer, and it'll just open them up in the web browser. And you can access folders from other computers really easily. So that's cool. And then my favorite thing about Google Drive for Desktop, which in my opinion, this is less intuitive for OneDrive, which is a hyper similar thing that probably students use here. Maybe everyone's familiar with. But versioning, I used to be stupid and I did not use OneDrive and I did not have Google Drive for Desktop. So I had no backups of any of my files ever, period. And this happened to be a really bad thing because one time I was like in a Word doc that was like all my lecture notes for something. And I pressed Control A on accident. And then I like typed a letter and then panicked. I like didn't notice it, or I panicked and I closed the doc, saving it. And I lost all my notes instantly. If I'd been doing OneDrive, this whole presentation basically applies to OneDrive too. But if I had Google Drive for Desktop at that time, I could just went in there, found my old version, downloaded it, kept it forever, whatever. Would have been really nice and easy. So in short, for $2 a month, you can get 100 gigs of space, which is pretty much all you need for most of your school files. You don't have to log in and out of Google everywhere. Your files are synced quickly and easily. You get versioning, and it's super cheap or free. You don't have to pay money for the extra space. I think Google Drive comes with like 8 gigs by default or something. And that would already hold my colleges folder, so that's decent. And a lot of people have their stuff in OneDrive right now. And I used to go to a community college, and I know you get used to using your school account for everything. And you're thinking, well, I'll just transfer over the things that I'm interested in keeping forever. But, you know, you forget about things, you get lazy. And I have some things on my community college account that are just gone to the void now in like the OneDrive solution that was there. So that's one thing.